Kyle Whittingham joins us right now. And Coach, talk a little bit about that championship game, that other big matchup that's coming up on Friday night. But can you explain to me, at least maybe give me the TV version of what you told your team at the half?
Well, we obviously hadn't played very well in the first half, and credit credit BYU, they played very well and had a great game plan. But the short version is we needed to wake up and play up to our capabilities, and we had 30 minutes to do it. That was the bottom line.
It's a rivalry matchup, and I know everyone wants to beat their rival. But what's the significance of not only the win, but how you guys played in that second half?
Well, I think that it speaks to the resiliency of the football team, and they've been that way all season long. It wasn't a one-time shot. I mean, we faced adversity and had things we had to overcome virtually the entire season, and they've always answered the bell. And that was just another demonstration of what they've been doing just about all year long. There were occasions where we didn't get it done, but for the most part, they've done a great job of doing what needed to be done.
Coach, it's kind of a moot point now because the game's over and you guys won, but I'm just curious from a personal standpoint, how much conversation there was with your staff about potentially resting guys in that rivalry game, knowing that the championship game, you guys had already locked up your spot. The BYU game didn't impact whether you guys were going to be playing for a Pac-12 title or not.
Yeah, we did have conversation about that because that was, the buzz in the media as well, and it wasn't a long conversation because everybody was really on the same page that hey, that wasn't the way to go, and we got a game and we treat it like every other game, and it's important for in-state supremacy and recruiting and that type of thing. So we did have conversation, but it was short-lived and very quickly arrived at the conclusion that it was going to be treated just like another game.
Coach, over the last couple of weeks or so, we have our debates on our set or off air, and one of them centers around Defensive Player of the Year. And I'm just curious because Chase Hansen seems like with Curtis and Yogi, who are on set with me, he's kind of the top of the list right now. We see what he does on the football field. We see what the numbers are. But how meaningful is his role in your mind as you watch him as a leader on your team?
Yeah, well, it can't be overstated. I mean, the leadership that he provides for this football team has been invaluable to us. He's the leader of the leaders, if you will. I mean, he's the guy that really everybody looks to, and he's just been incredible in that role. He was the same way in high school. He was a great leader on his high school team. He was the quarterback, which lends itself to naturally to being the leader of the team, but to do it from the linebacker spot is impressive, and he's been everything we hoped he would be, making that transition to linebacker.
I'm so glad you brought up that quarterback situation, Coach, because I'm curious, when Tyler goes down, you got Jason Shelley, so he's going to be out there. A little bit of a lack of depth, though, outside of him. I know Britton Covey's played a little bit of offense, and that quarterback. We've actually seen him throw some passes so far and some trick plays this season. Did Chase, as a true leader of this team, say, you know what, Coach, I got you. I can start at the quarterback spot if needed?
He could probably start at about a dozen spots for us, and you're right. We're down to just two QBs, with Jason Shelley and Drew Lisk, and so that third guy, could very well be Chase or Covey or somebody. I mean, it's got to be somebody. So we'll have we've had a contingency plan, and we'll continue to do so.
Coach, one of the cool things about this season compared to some other years at Pac-12 Network, we got to do these road shows. We were in Salt Lake City twice to see you guys up close and personal. One of those matchups was this Washington game, which is the championship game that we're going to get on Friday night. There's some obvious differences with your team. Quarterback and running back, two of the ones that certainly stand out. But in your mind, over the last 10 weeks or so, how much better has your team gotten?
Well, I think we've gotten markedly better offensively, and that was really what was problematic for us in the first couple conference games. After that, starting with the Stanford game, we started to get some momentum, but we didn't generate much offense in that first game against the Huskies. And defensively, we played pretty good. We did some good things. Held them to 21 points, which I think is their second lowest total of the year, or tied for their second lowest total of the year. So the offense really started to get on track shortly thereafter, and really took some of the pressure off of the defense.
I think it helps that they haven't seen Jason Shelley, at least on the football field. They'll watch tape over these last couple of weeks, but they haven't experienced him at the quarterback spot.
I don't think that's really a factor either way. They've got the tape, and the tape doesn't lie. I mean, you can see what you need to see on the film when you analyze it, and so I don't see that as being a factor either way.
Coach, before the season started, you were raving about Jason Shelley. I talked to some people that covered the team, and they felt like you were just it was coach speak. And as the season continued to unfold, it's like, oh man, like the kid can really play here. What was it that you saw, back in August or in the summer as you were watching him prepare for the season where you felt confident after Tyler goes down? You said, we're going to be okay with Jason Shelley.
Well, a couple things. First of all, his overall athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete, first team All-State in Texas, basketball, football, and baseball. At least that's what I've been told. I didn't look that up, but I know he's a tremendous player in those three sports. And then just the intangibles, the poise, the confidence, how he carries himself. Nothing seems to faze him. He handles pressure situations exactly like you'd like your quarterback to handle it. And so he's a guy that we saw that in high school when we recruited him. That was one of the things that really attracted us to him. And now he's doing those very same things for us on the field as our starter.
Coach, I think about the team's success the last couple of years centers on the defense. You have such a critical eye when you're watching film to make adjustments. We've seen that in games as these seasons have unfolded. Last time you guys played UW, Myles Gaskin goes off 143 yards. What have you seen on film from him that has you thinking that your guys can make the necessary adjustments in the championship game on Friday night?
Well, first of all, he's a great player, and I think he's certainly one of the top backs in the country. What he's done at Washington has been incredible throughout his career there, and we have got to. We pride ourselves on being physical against the run and trying to turn teams one-dimensional, and we weren't able to do that when we played the first time around. Not effectively enough. Like I said, it still wasn't a horrible performance defensively. We still played pretty decent, but for us to be our most effective on defense, that means turning a team one-dimensional and trying to establish the fact that the running game is going to be very tough sledding.
Coach, waiting to see you guys in this Pac-12 championship game, a conference title on the line and a spot in the Rose Bowl. Best of luck, and looking forward to seeing you guys at Levi's on Friday night.
Appreciate that. Thanks for having me on.